What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? I hope everybody had a good day or having a good day. I'm gonna wait a little bit for y'all to come in because we're going to talk. We're gonna talk about and analyze this interview. I'm not sure if we're gonna end up doing 2 parts or not. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. We will see. Let me go into my let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pages. I don't know if we're gonna get through all of it, but I'm gonna try to get through most, maybe 2 pages. I'm gonna try to get through 2 pages today. I just actually, what I did, y'all, I just actually got done just reading Jelani Day's autopsy. Some of his how his body was. I just got done reading how they described Jelani Day's body. Very disturbing. Very disturbing. So I myself has been looking, doing my own research, and we're going to be talking about that really soon. So be prepared for that. How they described his body. But they still don't know if he was murdered. They have not yet gave us that. They haven't gave us that information. But the only information they gave us was how his body was. And the mother did do a second autopsy for Jelani Day. And we was described and told in an article how his body was. And there's a couple of red flags on his body that I'm doing my own research on. And I've already found red flags and inconsistencies on what they describe to deceased and decomposing bodies found in water. So like I said, we will be going into that. We will be going into that soon. I'm trying to push for tonight, but hopefully tomorrow when I get off work, we'll be able to go live and talk about that. Because a couple of things they said, his body, Jelani's body in that water, is not actually it does not make sense. Okay? So his body, of course, has some damage. But the inside and his organs and stuff, it should have not have been liquefied. That's what they're thinking it is, because he was missing organs. So, yeah, we will be dealing with that. Oh, we will be dealing with it. But today, we're going to talk about Don Wills. Yep. We're going to talk about Don Wills. And great job, the behavior panel. Y'all did a wonderful, outstanding job interviewing Don Wills. Overall, he said things he's been saying to us from the beginning. Nothing that Don Wills has stated is anything different. I was hoping he would say something different. Hey, TJ Cook, baby. I was hoping that he would have said something different or new. He didn't. He did not. He did not. So I'm hoping I don't have to break this down into 2 parts. But we will see. We will see. So we're going to start from the beginning. So Don Wills, he went to Scott. He went to the behavior panel on his own. So he took it upon himself. Asked him for an interview. My question with that is, why? Is this attention, fame, wanting to be noticed? I'm just saying. Why? Hey, Jennifer Cooley. He's been going all over the internet, Facebook, YouTube, talking to a whole bunch of people. And now you go to the behavior panel. Okay? And all these people you've been talking to, there has become some type of drama. There's always been some type of drama anytime after Don Wills has spoken to someone. There is drama. I don't know about him going on Dr. Phil, but I believe that's what he's trying to do. He saw Gabby Petito's family on getting all this attention because Don Wills was quiet these last couple of weeks until he did this interview with Scott. They've been very quiet, and I believe Don is doing damage control because they was looking real bad out here. They've been caught doing a lot of bad things. So therefore, he was, in my opinion, relieved to not have the attention on him and Candace. But then again, he goes, takes it upon himself to go reach out to Scott to do another interview and said the same exact thing. Like what he's saying is Bible, is truth, when it's not. What he's saying, things Don says does not make sense. Things Don and Candace says does not add up. I was watching Interrogation with Granville Ritchie, for those who remember that. He raped and strangled 9-year-old Felicia. And him and Ebony were the last ones with that child. And their story did not make sense. And it ended up coming out that Granville raped and strangled that child. Okay? He raped and strangled that child. And when I was watching that interrogation, I saw Don Wills. That's all I could think about. Don and Candace. Candace was the last one with that baby. And everything she said from June 15th never added up. Never made sense. Because it's likely not true. We've seen this many, many times. And I can even say the same thing and subtract what we know about the essay. I can subtract the essay and I still see Don and Candace as persons of interest. I can still see them as persons of interest without essay. Candace was the last one with Summer. Period. And her store and grandmother was on that property. What they're saying does not make sense. And you will not. My story has not changed. My feelings. Really, it's not even about me, my feelings. It's the evidence. It's what we see. It's what is found. It's what we're looking at. It's never changed. It's never changed. And if you've been doing this for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyway, so he contacted this YouTuber. Okay. And like I just said, he saw the Petitos on Dr. Phil. He saw how Petito case blowing up. They looking for Brian, and he see all the attention they're getting. So he jumps out there again after quiet for a couple of weeks. He jumps right out there, contacts Scott. He asked for an interview. In my opinion, this is not about Summer. This is about him being a narcissist and wanting attention and wanting to be back in the spotlight, wanting it to be about him. And he wants to be seen in a different way. But we've already seen who he really is, who Candace really is. So it's nothing that he can do to change that. So he thought going on behavior panel was going to change how we look at him and perceive him and Candace. But see, what he doesn't understand, a narcissist can't understand, it's not about him. It's not about how we look at you. It's not about us being on your side. It's about your daughter. Finding your daughter. Finding out what really happened. To Don, it's about him and what we think. It's all that matters to him. It's not about Summer Wells. It's not about Summer Wells. Okay? It's about him. Because that's all he kept saying if y'all paid attention. Everybody that he threw under the bus in that interview, he made it about, they think we did it. That's all it's about. Is anybody that think he done anything, he throws him under the bus as a suspect. Okay? He throws him up under the bus as a suspect. But yeah, this is not about Summer. So let me give you an example. He led the interview starting about himself and his trauma. So he led out in the interview talking about himself. I thought this was about finding Summer Wells. But you led the interview about your trauma, what you've been through, making yourself the victim. It's all about Don. And he's shown us these traits many times. Narcissistic traits. Many, many times. So we should believe what we're seeing. We should believe that. But yeah, so he led the interview about himself. But if this was really about Summer, why didn't you lead the interview about Summer Wells? That's your daughter. If this is really about Summer, why did you lead about you? What you've been through? Why did you make this personal? Why did you make this about your trauma? What you've been through? Because it's about Don. I'm telling you, it's about Don. So he was basically laying down the groundwork. From what I see, Don was laying down the groundwork, excuses, reasons, of why he's about to tell you what he's about to tell you. Okay? So, let me tell you, I've been through a lot of trauma in my life. I've been to jail. I've been through this. I've been through that. I've been on drugs. This is why I'm the way I am. Now, let me tell you what happened. So, basically, in my opinion, he was laying down the groundwork. He was laying down what he wanted people to see as an excuse of what he's about to lay out. Okay? I do believe he is controlling, very controlling, trying to control how Sky and the behavior panel see him. And Don thinks that if he leads, I agree with that, Hancock. I really do. Don believes if he leads the interview about his trauma, what he's been through, they will have sympathy and empathy for him and believe what he says. This is what Don does. This is a pattern. He wants to make himself a victim about him so everyone can see him and have sympathy for him. Oh, Don's been through a lot, and have sympathy for him, but no. Okay? This is a con. This is a pattern. This is his pattern. And this was seconds in the interview. Seconds in. So I already knew after seconds in how this interview was about to go. I already observed how it's about to go. All right. Also, he wanted the interview to be led in a specific direction. So the behavior panel already observed that he led with himself. So then they went on and asked him about yourself, because you already led about yourself. So come on and tell us about yourself. You already led the interview about yourself. And he also said, I don't speak well. And I quote, I don't speak well. You don't speak well, but you haven't had a hard time all these times on social media talking with different people all over the country, communicating. You had no problems communicating to these different YouTubers. You had no problems communicating with Facebookers. You had absolutely no problem communicating with none of these other people. No problem. But you would like to let them know, I don't speak well. Okay. He already put an excuse in the atmosphere. I don't speak well. So he letting them know, if he mess up, if he make a mistake, if they don't understand something, if they misinterpret what he's saying. Hey, Alley Cat, love you too, boo. If they misinterpret anything that Don is saying, his excuse is already in the atmosphere. I don't speak well. So we just have to pay attention to things that he's saying, okay? Because he's basically laying the groundwork, okay? The behavior panel asked Don to tell him about himself. Of course, like I just said, he already started. So he talks about prisons, jails, talks about him getting into trouble. As always, he seeks out God right after he gets into trouble. His family already hipped us to that in the beginning, almost 4 months ago. His family already told us about him going to God every time he gets into trouble. And these last 4 months, we've seen that with our own eyes. How he talks about God anytime he make a mistake. Every time he do something, his scams, his lies, all of the things he's done on social media. Afterwards, he goes to the Bible. He goes to scriptures. We've seen that with our own eyes. Okay, we cannot say we haven't, because it's there. We've seen it. Okay, so that's Don's behavior pattern that we've observed. Okay, when he gets into trouble, he goes to God's and scriptures. And I do believe this is also him trying to get in control of the damage that's already been done. Our queen, much love you, sweetheart. Hey, mama, much love to you, boo. Yeah, so he's already. Oh yes, Alley Cat. Pity poor Nard 101. All these niggas trying to support sick. Yes, Miss Hancock. Yes. And yes, he's seeking damage control because him and Candace looking real bad out here in these streets. They're looking real bad out here with all the lies, the games, the mafia, the arrests that were fake, owing money, all of these type of things. Damage control is what I believe Don is seeking. Damage control. Yes, happy Sunday, everybody. But we already seen the devil himself come out. So you can't just tuck it away now. And now I'm just using a little metaphor. Once we already seen who a person is, you can't just act like we didn't see that. We can't just throw it in the back of the minds like, oh, we didn't see that. We didn't. No. We saw it. We see. We understand. We're not ignorant over here. We're very intelligent. We know what's going on. So we've seen who the Wells really are. So the damage control isn't, in my opinion, going to go in their favor. Okay? Maybe he's trying to persuade others, but it's not going to work on this side of the fence over here. It's not going to work. Not going to work. But he's still continuing to show himself in his traits, okay? So if you just look and listen closely, I'm going to break some of those down for y'all, okay? So he brought up his parole officer, and I quote, didn't like me for whatever reason. So he quoted that his parole officer didn't like him for whatever reason. Always an excuse. He knows exactly what happened or why he was in trouble and what the situation was with his parole officer. Don Wells knows. But he's going to play like, I don't know why. I don't know why my parole officer don't like me. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why. I didn't do anything. When most likely he knows. And there was a situation. But everybody's picking on Don. I wish they'd say, no, I can't. I do too, Mama. I wish they would too. So, like I said, most likely he broke his parole. But he's not going to come out and say that he broke his parole or didn't follow the rules. He's going to act like the parole officer has it out for him. He's the victim. The parole officer has it out for him. Everyone's against him. He's the victim. That's Don. He does that. That's his pattern. He's the victim. Everybody's against him. He don't know why. He don't know nothing. I don't know. Okay? He don't know. But that's his pattern. Okay? It's not him. It's his parole officer's fault. So Don states it got dangerous at his home because of YouTubers and psychics coming onto the property. And that's why he's presuming that the kids were removed. So when they talked about the kids being gone, he throws out, okay, because he's trying to use mind games. He's trying to use mind games. He's going to throw out, yeah, it was a lot of drama on YouTube. I never experienced something like that in my life. Psychics coming onto the property. So you throw that up when it's talked about your kids, making it seem like, oh, they was removed because of their safety from everything that was going on. When 9 times out of 10, that's not why. Okay, the CPS removed the kids for completely other reasons he can't speak on because there's a specific gag order. Okay, it had nothing to do with social media or no one coming to his home. They removed the kids of Don because of Don and Candace's behavior, things they was involved in, things they were doing. And they removed those kids after, if you notice, after they pulled those kids and talked to them with child people that's that talks to kids. Okay, once the CPS and everybody and the police removed the kids to talk to them, as you know and observed, they came not long after and removed the kids out of the home. So most likely the kids reported something or some things that was going on in that home. Okay? And that's just what it is. And there's a gag order where he cannot speak on it. okay? But we already know with common sense what the household was like. With logical thinking brains, we know what was going down in their house. Period. So yeah, Don wants you to think, oh, I'm so glad they're safe now. I'm so glad, you know what I'm saying, they're in a better place. And yeah, there was so much danger. When he's trying to control the narrative, that's not why. The kids were likely removed because of him and Candace. Things they were doing and was doing prior to Summer becoming up missing. So yeah, so yeah, he's trying to control that narrative too. And let me add, those kids being removed, in my opinion, was the best thing for those kids. Don also states social media has been crazy. He's never seen nothing like it in his life. The same social media that you and your wife love to talk on. Same social media you and Candace ran to, talking to all different types of people in all walks of life. Don and Candace talked to all these allegedly crazy social media people. So what does that make you? If you're talking to all these social media so crazy and they did all this and they did that, but you talk to them, so you just as crazy, right? You just as involved, right? You reached out to all these crazy social media people. You was messaging all these crazy social media people. So what does that make you? So Don's the victim of social media. It's social media fault too. So far it's the probation officer fault. It's social media fault. Yeah, it's everybody's fault. And let's not even talk about Don being just as complicit. Oh yes, we're gonna get to that, Melissa. Let's talk about you, Don Wells, being so complicit in all of the drama that was going on social media. Drama, rumors, lies caused by you and Candace yourself. So again, Don, you are a part of the crazy social media. And you love it. You love the attention. Y'all love it. That's why y'all made a big hoax. That's why you brought up the mafia. Oh, they may have did something this summer because allegedly he owed them this and that. And then you faked like the police came and arrested you. And they took you whole to another state. Like, you are a part of the crazy social media. Don states he didn't want his boys there, insinuating he had an option or a choice. He had no choice. No option. CPS came to remove those kids because of you and Candace, not because of Don's feeling the boys aren't safe. Oh, none whatsoever. I wouldn't be surprised, Ellie Cat, if someone tried to save her. But my thing is, if we want to go with that, why not save the boys too? Why only save Summer? Like I said, that's a good possibility. But why leave the boys and only take her if you want to save the kids from everything they was going through? That's my question with that. Why leave them? So, yeah, he wanted to insinuate that he had a choice or option, but there was no choice. They was coming to get those kids regardless of what Don and Candace wanted. They was coming to get those kids. He had no option. He had no choice. None of that. But he will put it out there like, yeah, like he had a choice, like it's the best thing for them. So he will protect how he look, his reputation, how him and Candace are perceived which that's all Don is worried about. Goes back to what's all he's worried about. So he's pushing a false narrative, okay? So Don brings up the red truck narrative. He brought up the red truck narrative again. He has been pushing that narrative from the beginning, with only himself as the witness. Let me pause right there. So this red truck came into existence almost 4 months ago when someone went missing. He allegedly saw it maybe hanging around the property. Was it before she went missing? Yeah. He may have seen it around before she went missing. And this is what the red truck came from. So sporadically, he brings up the red truck. Now, he talked to David Dotson. Y'all go back with me. Hang in there with me. We're going to go back. David Dotson came out and spoke on Unmasked channel and said, Don and Candace told me the red truck was found abandoned in another city in Tennessee with the license plates removed. Does anyone recall that? The police, because people start calling about it. So the police came out and spoke and said, that's not true. Do not believe that. We have not found no red truck abandoned in another city with license plates. That is not true. But then again, that's his friend that he communicated with that came out and spoke on their behalf because they wasn't trying to speak. They was trying to hide at that moment. Okay? So we found out that not to be true. And that allegedly came from Don and Candace pushing this red truck narrative. Steady trying to push this red truck narrative. So he brings it up again with this red truck. Oh, yes. Go on Unmasked channel, baby. Go on Unmasked channel and look at the interview with David Dotson. I don't miss nothing. I've been on their case from the beginning. I don't miss nothing. And I pay attention to everything Don Wells says. And I go back to everything that was previously said. Yep, so the police came out and spoke, and that's why they did an article about the red truck. No, we still have not found it. It's still out there, and they were still asking that person if they seen anything. You're just a witness to come in and tell us if you saw anything, because they was getting that from Don Wells. Okay, but anyway, so we didn't forget that. I know I never forgot that. I spoke about it on my channel, my previous videos on Summer Will's case. The truck being abandoned in a different city is what he allegedly told David Dotson. But the police came out and squashed that rumor that was out about the red truck being found with the license plates removed. Okay? So yes, it's out there. I'm going to tell you exactly where to go to look at it. Well, you can look it up on the article as well. But also, David Dotson, Unmasked channel. Go check it out. He talks about that red truck and what they said, that it was allegedly found in another city abandoned. So on this, with the behavior pattern, he talks about the red truck again. Okay? Oh, definitely, Melissa. You know, we never believed about the red truck. We know that's another narrative to help with the kidnapping theory. That would coincide with the kidnapping. Yeah, it would coincide with all of that. Okay? So, once again, I never was too much hung up on the red truck. I never believed it was. I took the information, set it on the side of my brain, but I know that was a narrative that he wanted to push for kidnapping. That would help back him up on kidnapping. So yeah, he brought up that again. And he also states that Summer's been gone. No one's been coming since Summer been gone. No one's been coming around. So it sounds like he's pushing indirectly the kidnapping theory again. Okay? So he says, well, since Summer was kidnapped, no one's been coming around. No one's been coming around. But before, people been coming around. Okay. So it sounds like, again, he wants people to be looked at as different suspects. Right, Alley Cat. Everyone's a suspect. Everyone that's acting different around Don Wells, you took Summer Wells. Definitely. If you act different, oh, you a suspect. You took it. You could have took my daughter. Everyone, if you don't agree with him, you could have took Summer Wells. Even if you live 100,000 miles away, you a suspect to Don Wells, okay? But in another interview, he said he don't believe no one in Rogersville or his neighbors took her. So which is it? He talks bad about the neighbors and people around him, and he paints this picture and says things like they could have took Summer Wells, but then goes to say, I don't think nobody in Rogersville took her. In another interview, he said no one in Rogersville could do such a thing. Well, there's pedophiles. So if anyone, ooh, that was a wasp flying right over my car. If anyone can harm a child, they could take a child. So his thought process on no one in Rogersville could take her is not, it doesn't make sense. You have people in a lot of places that are registered sex offenders that harms kids, and if they're able to harm a child, they're able to come and remove a child. It's just that simple. So 1 minute Don throws people that live in that area under the water and says and paints them as they could have done it, but then turns around, and he does this a lot throughout these 4 months. Well, I don't think they did it. I don't think nobody in Rogersville did it. Well, which one is it? Are they drug dealers? Are they pedophiles that could have took Summer? Or which one is it? Because the next minute he defends them. And that's what that makes him look crazy to me. Unbelievable to me. It's almost like he wants them to be looked at as a suspect, but then he don't want them to because he feel like they couldn't have done it. It's almost like he wants to cover for whoever. It's a stupid damn statement for a ship to say. Everybody's a suspect. Oh, best believe me, that's just something they put out there, Alley Cat. I honestly believe that they have their eyes set on who the possible real suspects are. But to protect my investigation, so won't nobody get scared and run, I'm going to say everyone's a person of interest. You get my drift, to get where I'm going. I believe they knew from the beginning. That's why they repeatedly searched that house. Had different people, organizations come in and search that property. Because I feel, just by what they're doing, shows me that they think that baby is somewhere around. Not very far from Rogersville. And it tells me that they don't fully believe that Summer Wells was kidnapped. Just by their actions alone. Just by looking at what they've been doing. Okay? So, 1 minute he throws them under the bus as suspect, then defends them. That shows deception to me. I see deception. He's trying at any cost to push a narrative concerning kidnapping, but don't want certain people to be looked at as suspects. That makes no sense. What picture did they find on Candace camera? You had drug trafficking going on the mound. Candace was pimping her out. She was 4 years old. I've heard a little stuff about David Dodson, but I would just have to have more information. I haven't seen many photos, nothing like that yet. So David, Rogersville, 54, that's Florida. Exactly. But nobody in Rogersville did it. No, they couldn't have done it. I don't think nobody in Rogersville did it. That's what Don said in the previous interview before this one. Don stated David Dodson has been around to his house. Let's go there. So he told the behavior panel that David Dodson has been to his house a few times. Because I asked in a previous video, where was he? Because David Dodson was involved in the beginning. And he came out and spoke on behalf of them. And they gave him permission to come out and do an interview with Unmasked. And then for the last almost 4 months, he's silent. So I was questioning, where is he? I thought he was a friend of the family. So now I know that Don still talks and communicates with David Dodson, because he just told us in the interview that, yeah, he's been back and forth to the house a few times. Okay? And don't forget, Candace said that she called Robin. But yeah, I think David Dodson said, if I remember correctly in the interview with Unmasked, that he was called over too. And the police was already there. So yeah, they was called over to that house. So that lets me know there was a friendship there. There's a little friendship there. Now, the kicker here for me is part of the interview, Don wants David to be looked at as a suspect, but says, I don't think he did it. And you entrusted this man to go take your boys right, because that's not what it is. Because that's not what it is. Steak puss. Because that's not what it is. See, he spoke on certain things. You see what I'm saying? But he didn't speak on the things he really can't speak on. That lets you know it's not what he's saying. It's something else that's been going on at the Wells home. That lets you know right there. It's probably abuse and neglect. And other things going on in that home. It's not what he's saying, because you wouldn't be able to say it. See what I'm saying? Because he had a gag order. Right. But from my understanding, she is the biological mama. See, he wants to use the gag order as an excuse to when he wants to throw it in there. When he don't want to answer a question, he's going to give you an excuse. He's going to give you, I don't know, I can't answer that. I'm not sure about that. I can't speak on that. That's when he don't want to answer a question. That's when he don't want to tell you something. He hides behind that, which that has nothing to do with the gag order. Is she the mama or not? Yes or no? That's simple. Did she birth these boys? Yes or no? It makes no sense to me. So why didn't Don allow Candace to come to the interview? Why wasn't Candace at the interview? Why do y'all think Candace wasn't at the interview? Because you know he's been hiding her out. He's been hiding Candace out. He's the spokesperson. Candace was the last one with Summer Wells. This was her story. This is what she said happened. Why not have the person that was last with the child at the interview speaking? Why not? Why not? Why do we have a person that was not with Summer, allegedly, at the time of her disappearance? Why do we have that person doing all the talking? Allegedly, this story was told to you. So why are you doing all the interviews and the talking? Why not Candace? TJ, they probably do know something. And just by Don's response to that question, tells them their answer right there. So if they knew that Candace wasn't the biological mama of one of those boys, he answered that question by not answering it, by hiding behind a gag order. He answered that question. Just that simple. So, is it control? Is he scared that she might slip up in the interview, might not be able to answer the correct questions the way that they talked about? Why is it she not there? I think Don is trying to maintain control of a situation that he does not have control over. And he doesn't have control over the things that Candace might say. Because I think she will slip up because they slipped up before. Hey, Scotty. Oh, yeah. I do believe he keeps her and himself drugged up. I think so, too, Hope. Hey, Jules, baby. Yeah. She is never in the spotlight or talking, and she was the last one with the child. So that's the one we don't want to put in the spotlight. If you put yourself in the shoes of a guilty person, and I know this person is guilty, I'm going to hide you out. I'm going to do the talking. I'm going to run the narrative. You sit still and you chill and you let me do the talking. If we put ourselves in their shoes, if they did something or if they know something, yeah, you don't want that person in the spotlight. You don't want them talking because, yeah, eventually Candace will break if she ain't already broke down at home. Because in my strong opinion, I believe she knows, Don knows, or they did something. Whether it was an accident or whatever, they know where Summer is. And that's my opinion. Candace calls Don and tells him everything. So Don really knows. In my opinion, he knows. He knows. Oh yeah. and she's probably feeling all that guilt. But yeah, so hiding Candace out is suspicious. Okay? And she was the last one with Summer, so she should be at every interview, in my opinion. You're the last one with the child. You would know more detailed information than the person that's not there. So why am I not talking to the person interviewing with the person that was last with the child. Why am I talking to you? And what you saying is hearsay. It's from what she said. That's what I think too, Melissa. Yep. So, like I said, we just have to think about that for a minute. Why is the person that wasn't there, that was allegedly at work, doing all the talking? A person that wasn't at home, allegedly, dialed 911. Think about that. Hey, boo. So you got a person that wasn't there when the child allegedly went missing, and you got a person that called 911 that wasn't there, but doing all this talking. That person knows a lot more. Yes, Melissa, he's definitely afraid of going back to prison. So if it was an accident, in my opinion, they will cover it up. He's scared of prison. He don't want to go back to prison. He definitely don't. So Don is trying to run a narrative right now to anyone that will listen and be on his side. Okay, so he feels this way about the behavior panel. He feels this way, so he's trying them. So he went to them. Don also talks about the employee that he fired the day before, like a suspect. He basically is implicating the former employee that was ruled out as a suspect by law enforcement. He stated before in the previous interview to Chris McDonough, the TBI said he didn't do it. Chris McDonough already broke down the behaviors of a drug addict. They are not stable and focused enough. Somebody as wild as that he describes that employee to plan out and take summer. So in my opinion, he wasn't an actual, okay, he could be a person of interest, but I don't think he did it. But Don talks about him as a suspect. He implicates him, but then he says, like he did in his last interview, the police already, they interview him. They don't feel like he had Summer or did anything to her. So again, we've heard this excuse. Hey, boo. Hey, mijo. I know, Phoenix. I could barely make it through. Girl, it took me a whole 8 hours. I had to keep stopping, pausing. So, we've heard this narrative before. Hey, Marine, baby. So, we've heard this narrative before. The employee that was fired. Okay? So, he talks about that. Another thing Don brought up before I said what he just brought up, that employee, he said the police already interviewed and ruled him out and sent him on his way. But okay, so Don brought him up again. So we've heard of that story. So Don stated he looked up on YouTube the behaviors of people on meth, and I think that's ironic. Okay, so Don said, oh, yeah, I looked up people that was on meth and their behaviors, how they react. And he's an experienced drug addict himself, so, and he knows and has experience with hard drugs as well. So again, birds of a feather flock together. So let me just say that. So Don is good for Googling, doing his research on whatever he's trying to push. Okay? Whatever he's trying to push, he looks it up. Also, people send him information. They send him, information. Just like they send him suspects in his DM on Facebook. And their information. And their charges. So, yeah. He does a lot of Googling and research. Which I'm not surprised. Yes, Maureen, Don the God. So, Don adds in something I've never heard. I've never heard this. He does say something I've never heard. He said he told Summer she's going to have to start sleeping in her own bed. I don't believe that. He's heard people talk about how inappropriate that was, so he added that piece in this interview. And let me tell you why I don't believe he said that. Because 5 years later, all these years, she's been sleeping with y'all. Out the blue, you just gonna say, you're gonna have to start sleeping in your bed. But then she looked at me with these crocodile tears. And I just let her sleep in it. What would make you say that after 5 years? Don watches everything on YouTube. Everything that people say, everything that people do, he's looking. He knows that a lot of people feel like that's inappropriate. So, he takes it upon himself to add that in. And that's something he's never stated before. I told her she's going to have to start sleeping in her own bed. I don't believe that. Not for 1 second. But that's me. That's just my opinion. I don't believe it. Because what would provoke you to say that? This is a repetitive behavior for 5 years. No problem whatsoever. Y'all seen nothing wrong with it. So, if you see nothing wrong with it, why all of a sudden you will say that? It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in the behavior. It doesn't fit in the behavior. So 5 years later, you just now realizing it. I don't believe it. And he can't remember the last thing Summer said to him. So they asked him, what was the last thing you remember Summer saying to you? And he says that. Okay? He don't remember if it was that night or the night before. He doesn't remember when. He doesn't remember when this occurred, when last time she spoke to him. But that's what he could think of. That's what he can remember. Me telling her she got to start sleeping in her own bed. I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't believe that. Once again, he's heard people talk about it. And that he recalls is the last thing that she said to him. I don't believe it. That's not the last thing that Summer said to him. What was Summer's real last words? Because it was not, I want to sleep with you. She's been sleeping with you and Candace. She been sleeping with you and Candace. I want to know the real last words. And that's something that they're not going to tell us. They're not going to tell us the real last words. He can't describe what she had on when I know he knows for a fact what Summer had on. That was your last contact, sighting, of your daughter that you're never gonna see again, likely. She's missing 4 months. That was your last sighting. And you mean to tell me you don't know, remember what she had on, what she said to you? I call bullshit. That's bullshit. Bullshit. He remembers, and he probably plays it over and over in his head. Certain things you won't forget. You can't forget. Certain things you cannot forget. It's imprinted in your brain. Because that's the most tragic thing in your life. That's the most tragic thing in your life. Oh, you gonna remember. He don't want to tell what the last words. He don't want them to know what she had on. He don't want nobody to know what she had on. It was probably a little nightgown or something that she probably had on underwears. He knows what she had on. He doesn't want to tell, and he's not going to tell. He always give an excuse. Okay? Her last words was not, "I want to sleep with you." He want us to believe that, but it's not that. That's not her last words, because she's been sleeping with you. You did not say at 5 years later you're going to start sleeping in your bed. You did not say that. You didn't. That's what you want us to believe. That's not her last words. He did not say that to her. And he knows what she had on. And he knows her last words for real. He knows. I'm telling y'all, I see a lot of these guys. They don't forget. They don't forget. Don is playing people, and he thinks people are stupid. Like, we don't know the behaviors and the traits of these guys. When he knows. He's never going to tell that. People have been asking Don for the last 4 months, what's the last words from your daughter? What does she has on? Every time they've asked him, he's giving people a bullshit excuse. This was a new excuse. I told her she got to start sleeping in her bed. And that's what her last words to me is, "I want to sleep with you, Daddy." So that's the last thing you said to your daughter? Yeah. You didn't say that to her. Exactly, Melissa. Things like that, you can't forget. You can't forget. He doesn't want to tell the people what she had on, what her last words was. That's all that is. But he knows. Don says that Candace is this close to going off the edge, so he believes Candace's story. They ask him, do you think Candace had anything to do with it? He says no. They ask him why. Okay, because she's this close to going off the edge. Huh? Because she's this close to going off the edge, so she had nothing to do with it? She doesn't know anything? People have many reasons to lose it. Okay? She could be grieving, or it could be guilt weighing on people, because guilt is a powerful thing. It will make you do crazy and weird things. However, their story, especially Candace, does not add up. Okay? But he's pushing for sure that she didn't do it. And his reason was she's this close to losing it isn't the response you would get for supporting why Candace couldn't have done it or had nothing to do with it. You're saying she this close of losing it. It's almost like throwing her under the bus. Well, why is she about to lose it? Is it because her daughter's gone? Is that what you're saying? Because you're not this close to losing it. I mean, so what is you saying? You could take that two different ways. You could take that as guilt, or she knows her daughter's not coming back and she grieving. Okay? You can take that two different ways. But I pay attention to what his response was to that question. And he always throws Candace under the bus. She always got to be a drunk. She always got to be something wrong with Candace on behalf of Don. He always, something always has to be wrong with her, to him. You think it's both? I think it's both too. And like I said, he's hiding Candace, but Candace knows what happened. Don knows what happened because Candace told him. So they know. Okay? Because how they're acting and their response and the things they're doing goes to them knowing something and trying to hide it. And that's just what I see. I'm just going to give y'all what I see. You're not going to be hiding if you didn't do anything. I'm not going to keep my wife tucked away if she's innocent. I'm just saying. I'm not going to do that. Right. Right. Exactly. And if Candace knows and the guilt is getting to her, eventually she's going to break. Eventually. So we almost in 4 months. A lot of people think that, Phoenix. A lot of people think he's keeping her drugged up. I think they used the abduction with the whole abduction scam. What they just said she was family. Well, because most likely she's probably not alive. So they can't say she's with family because people gonna want to see and know who and proof of life, and yeah, people gonna check that out if she's with family. She's supposed to be starting school, so Bells is gonna be alarmed, you know, missing school. They already signed up for school. They gotta explain where this child is. Okay, so once they notify, okay, this child has missed a whole semester, she's not in school, right? They're going to notify CPS. CPS going to notify the police. They're going to track down a family member. If they can't provide a Summer Wells, that wouldn't work. Her being hid out with family. Yeah, they would definitely check that out. Now, for them to, if they did something, them to try to use the kidnapping, okay, if they did something, they think that's going to work. Hey, Gabby Bird. Oh, yeah, I just talked about that Arabian. It was not convincing. I was just saying it. That wasn't the appropriate response to why I know my wife didn't hurt our daughter. The appropriate response is she just close to the edge, so I know she didn't do it. What? That's not the appropriate response. The appropriate response would be she loves my daughter. She loves our daughter. She would never do nothing like that. She's not that type of person. It wouldn't be she this close of the edge of why I know she didn't do it. That's not the appropriate response. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, because he's hiding. He's hiding behind that. Things that don't make sense. It's right there. It's right in our face. Hold on, what is it? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I believe he's taunting the people who he's interviewing. He think he's smarter than everybody. That's a narcissist. He think he's way up there. He knows more than everybody. He's smarter than everybody. He can push this narrative because he's upset that they think him and Candace did it. That's all he's worried about. That's it. But yeah, so people have many reasons of losing it. So that wasn't the right response. That wasn't the right response, okay? So Don reiterated that he wasn't there. Okay, if y'all catch it, he says, I just want to let y'all know again, I wasn't there, so I don't know. So he wants them to make sure that they know that this is what Candace said happened. He removes himself of any responsibility right at that moment and puts it on Candace. Again, I wasn't there. So you're out doing an interview speaking on what Candace told you. So there, right there, he removes himself for any responsibility, anything that could have happened. He's removing himself, okay? Right at that moment, he put it on Candace. This is what Candace said happened. That's the work of a narcissist. This is what so-and-so said happened. It's never them. It's always somebody else. I'm the victim. I'm innocent. It's somebody else. Don said something that is another red flag. He said H, Allie, and Candace were all friends. Happy and good until Summer went missing. Did y'all catch that lie? Please tell me. I know QTC gang caught that lie. Don said H, Allie, Candace were all friends up until Summer went missing. Okay, everybody caught that lie? Okay, yeah, we know that's a lie. Why do we know that's a lie? Because H told us, Candace told us, and Allie told us. And Allie's mother told us. So why did Don lie about that? Why did Don lie about that? And so we got to ask ourselves, why did Don lie about that? They haven't been friends for a while. Almost a year. They fell out over Jose. So that's not true. Red flag. Another lie. Why did he lie about that? Let me tell you why I think he lied about that. Because he wants them to be a suspect. He wants them to be looked at as a suspect. He wants them to be looked at as taking Summer. So he has to paint them like we was all good. We was all friends. And all of a sudden, they turned on us. Then they said this at the little parade. I don't believe they said that, but he said that, oh, your child is gone, pointing at him. They got your daughter. He's been saying that same lie. And he added that they were friends right up until she went missing. That's a lie. That's not true. So once again, Don stated that lie to create this narrative that H and Allie had something to do with Summer going missing. That's why I think he told that lie. He wanted to create a narrative. That's what I think. He wanted to create a narrative that their body language and they changed, who they were changed when Summer went missing. When in reality, they wasn't cool. They wasn't around. They wasn't over there. So they couldn't have took Summer. But I'm going to make it seem like they was all close. We was all cool. And all of a sudden Summer go missing and they turn on us. They must have took Summer. They must have something to do with it. But he can't be thinking, because I know he's seen the interviews. Even his wife interviewed. She said they weren't friends. And they fell out over Jose. So why would you tell this bold-faced lie? Does he think we don't remember the interviews, what they all said? Hey, Natasha. Oh, yeah, he blames so many people in this interview. It's crazy. Don will and has thrown everyone he can under the bus, including Candace. The narrative Don is pushing with this particular lie is he wants them to seem like all of a sudden they're not cool after Summer disappeared, to implicate H. Allie. Might have something to do with Summer's disappearance. And we know what Don is saying is not true, because both his wife and Allie and Allie's mom said that they were not friends for a while before this happened. They fell out almost a year ago when Don was arrested for fighting Jose. So that's a big ass lie to tell in that interview. That's a big one. That's a big one. A big lie. So you have to ask yourself, why did Don lie? And I told you why I think he lied. Okay? To push that narrative that they're involved. Don also stated, as far as he knows, the boys were the last to see Summer. Now he's putting the burden of guilt on his sons. His own sons. He also blames for this guilt on the boys for leaving the door unlocked. And even wide open. That's a new one. That's a new one. Candace says the door is always locked. Previously, he said he's not sure the door was locked. Now, the door is always wide open and it's always unlocked. Let's lie and create narratives to fit my theory. That's exactly what he's doing. You throw your boys under the bus. You say, well, you know, I wasn't there, but the boys were the last to see Summer before she went downstairs. She asked my youngest son to go play with her. He feels guilty. He says he should have went downstairs in the basement and played with her. All those things. So he's projecting his guilt onto the boys, everything onto the boys, removing himself out the situation. Just like his trait, who he is. That's what Don does. His own boys. And he blames them without saying it. But he's y'all definitely controlling the narrative. Yes. Since the beginning. Yes. And he blames them and says, the door is always unlocked. I used to always get on them. The door be wide open. And that's the first we've ever heard of that basement door staying wide open. So he lies and he changes his story up with that door. And that's a red flag. Because in the beginning we were told that door was locked. But there's always been inconsistencies about that door. Being locked one minute, unlocked on another, possibly unlocked. Yeah, she could reach it. No, she can't reach it. It's always been inconsistencies with that door. Okay? And the story's always changing. So that's a red flag. Then he added, though, the door be wide open. That's a new one. That's a new one. Something that y'all never said before. Y'all never said that before. And I think if that was true, you would have been said that. So I don't believe that. The story keeps changing. And he added in things that was never stated before. You don't think it was pertinent to tell the police, or in the interview the door was wide open? You don't think that was important or pertinent? I think that was very pertinent. Don states he was not aware that the dog trail was even there. Did y'all catch that? Tell me y'all caught that. Don tells the behavior panel that he was not aware the dog trail was even there. How? How did you not know the dog trail was there? I don't believe that. You said the kids will play on it. You said the kids will play on the dog trail. And you've been, yes, he's been saying it from day one. But you didn't know about it until she went missing. What? You said the kids would play on it. She would chase them while they riding their little bikes and stuff down the trail. So how do you not know about it? That's another blatant lie that I observed in this interview. All these lies, gotta ask yourself why. He keeps lying. He keeps lying and changing his story. So why would someone do that? Because they're hiding something. Because they don't want you to know something. That's why somebody would do that. That's common sense. So to the believers of Dawn Wells, I sincerely want to understand how do y'all believe him when there's nothing but lies and red flags and inconsistencies? I sincerely want to know. Please help me understand. Help me understand where you coming from, believers of Dawn Wells, because I can't fathom that in my brain. I see lies. I see red flags. How can you believe what he's saying? I just want to understand. If somebody could please explain it. I just want a believer of a Dawn fan to please tell me how and what they see, because I've been trying and I can't. There's no truth in that man. There's red flag after red flag. There's lie after lie, and I've broken a lot of them down. Lies. So please explain to me how you believe him when he's changed his story, when he's lied about things that we know are not true. Things that people of the whole world knows. Why would he lie? And how do people believe him? Or some people believe him. I just want to know. Help me understand what you see. Because I don't see it. I don't understand it. I want to understand how you don't see lies. How you don't see manipulation. How you don't see control. How you don't see narcissistic behavior. How you don't see that. I just really want somebody to explain to me. Yes, he don't want to go to prison. I think that's one thing he's really afraid of. So he's definitely going to push a narrative. Yes. And I'm going to get to that. Okay, so let me keep going. Another thing. Don stated, another red flag. Lie. Okay. He said there were 1 or 2 police cars there when he got there. He told behavior panel there was 1 or 2 police cars when he got there. Before, on multiple occasions, he said he beat the police there. So again, Don is and has lied and changed his story on multiple accounts. At the 35-minute mark, he said police was already there. 35-minute mark, he said the police was already there. So question, why did he lie about beating the police there before? Why did he lie about that? These are facts that Don has lied. We cannot make this up. We didn't create this. These are facts that can be proven. That is proven fact. We didn't create this. We're not making this up. This is something that is real. So I'm trying to understand from the fans of Don Wills how you don't see this, how you can't comprehend this. I want to understand what they see because I just don't see it. But flat out lie. Now he's going with the police that beat him there. 1 or 2 cars was there when he got there. There are no coincidences in true crime, and Don Wills has lied on multiple occasions. Where is Summer? Where is Summer? Where is Summer? Don knew she was gone. He made sure he stated that. He stated that to the behavior panel. I knew she was gone. I just knew she was gone. After 25 minutes of nobody finding her, you just knew she was gone. Thank you, Melissa. Don knew she was gone. So my question is, well, how did you know 25 minutes later that she was completely gone? How did you know that? He gives his reasons of why he just knew she was gone. Well, nobody could find her. It was 25 minutes. Kids can run around. They can hide. You know what I'm saying? They could be anywhere. But your first thought, it just been 25 minutes, wouldn't be that they were completely gone. Unless he knows something that we didn't know. But he said it took him 25 minutes to know she was gone. Completely gone. Another lie at 36-minute mark in the interview. He said the police blocked off the road. Okay? 36-minute mark. Don said the police blocked off the road. You couldn't get nowhere. Before previous interviews, you said the roads were not blocked. Anyone could get in and out. Anyone could have had Summer and went in and out. That's what Don Wills said before interviews. Prior interviews, he said that the roads was not blocked. At this 36-minute mark, 36-minute mark. He said the bros was blocked. So then again, he's lied and changed his story from what he said previously to Chris McDonough on one occasion and to another YouTuber that the streets was not blocked. He said the roads was not blocked. Now he's saying it was. He couldn't go nowhere. Would have been easier to talk about the 3 things he didn't lie about. Right. Right. It's so many. It's ridiculous. So he changed his story. He repeatedly lies. Okay. The question is and remains, why are you lying? And we know why he's lying. It's common sense. So they asked Don what he think happened. He automatically says he did not know. I don't know. First thing he said was he did not know what happened to his daughter. Then he leaves after that with, I think it was weird how Hunter and Allie acted after. Basically implicating H and Allie did it. But you just said you don't know what happened. They asked you what you think happened to your daughter. I don't know. But I think it's weird how H and Allie was acting afterwards. Basically wanting them to be suspects, wanting to put them under the bus, wanting to implicate them. Don didn't answer that question. It was a very direct question. He couldn't answer it. He could not answer that direct question. They asked, what do you believe happened? Don has blamed multiple people already in 38 minutes of this interview. Former employee H. Allie and people in the neighborhood, casting blame and guilt onto others, okay? He can't directly answer questions. It's very clear. Don is lying through his teeth and creating narratives that aren't true or believable, only to cast blame away from himself. He even brought up Chris McDonough multiple times. This is about your daughter. This is not about another YouTuber. Why do you bring up Chris McDonough? What the hell does he got to do with Samuel going missing? He brings him up, even though he was miles and miles and miles away when your daughter went missing. He brings up Chris McDonough twice. This interview was him basically, anybody that pissed Don off, anybody that think he did it, this was about them. This was about him talking about them. This was about him blaming them. This was get back for Don Wells. This wasn't about Summer. This was get back and notice. He wanted to be noticed himself. But this was get back to all the people that think he's done it. To all the people that think he's guilty. To all the people that came out and spoke on him. This was get back. This was get back. This wasn't about Summer Wells. He couldn't answer nothing about Summer Wells. But he could tell you all the people he think did it. And all the people that he brought up are people that came out and spoke against him. That came out and told their truth about Don Wells. These are all the people that he implicated in this interview. A pattern. This was a get back. Okay? This wasn't about Summer getting the attention brought to Summer. This was him retaliating his response to what Chris said and done, to what H and Allie said and done. This was get back. And I find it odd that he didn't bring up Grandis. Not one time. I'm curious about that. If you go against Don, anything he says or believes, He's going to throw you under the bus. You're the bad guy. Yes, he's an expert at blame shifting. Yes, he's good with that. And I don't see how people don't pick up on that. But it's right there. Don denied punishing Summer. He also said Candace wouldn't punish her either. Exactly. And Stankopuss, he said he didn't know nothing about a dog trail until Summer went missing. Which we know that's a lie because he spoke on it. He always lying. So he then denies on punishing Summer when they was like, okay, come on now. We all spank kids. Hey, Jerry. Why did he strike the fridge with the stick? She gives that child so many evil looks. Because exactly, he knows who the drug dealers are because he most likely have bought drugs from them before. He knows. So, another part to ask him, about punishing, do you whip them, spank them, or whatever? And the behavior panel was telling him, everybody spanks their kids. But Don, he denied punishing Summer. He also said Candace didn't punish Summer either. And when we know their history, we know they're capable of hitting and abusing children. Witnesses said they hit those kids. I believe it. They always was knocked up, bruised up. A lot of the times, I didn't see no kids without some type of mark or something, okay? And that's just what I've seen on pictures that I've reviewed. Okay, that's just not believable. And we know the history, okay? On both sides, individually, before they even came together. They both have history of that, okay? Documented, okay? But anyway, so Don says, no, I don't punish Summer. Candace don't punish Summer. Y'all want to know who I think really beat Summer? I think it was Candace. I think she was the main one that would abuse Summer. And it's not just her history. It just seems like there's some type of evilness or hatred or dislike. I don't know if it's because of how Don feels about Summer. I don't know what it is. But I think Summer caught it the most. Okay? And I think she caught it the most from Candace. Because, once again, Candace was always with the kids. Allegedly. But I'm not convinced on them not punishing them. I'm not convinced. I think they did. And if you notice the body language, Don started to stutter and couldn't even answer the question. He couldn't get the answer out. He was stuttering. That lets me know they whooped those kids. They beat those kids. Go to that interview. He starts to stutter. He looks shocked. His eyes change. He get big. He don't know what to say. He trying to get it out. It's simple. If you don't beat your kids, you just gonna say, no, I don't beat my kids. But he was stuttering. You have to pay attention. He was stuttering. He could not get it out. He could not get it out that he didn't. No, we do timeout. Body language says different. The body language says you wasn't expecting that question and you didn't know how to respond. Body language says you beat those kids. That's what the body language tells me. That you lied. Right there. I lied. You was shocked. You weren't expecting that question. It shocked you. Yes, there was a naked picture. I covered it up, but I did I? Yeah, I showed the picture, but yeah, I covered her up completely and I covered the boys' faces because they're minors and it's not about them. So I didn't want to show their faces. But yeah, I had the picture. She was completely naked outside. Okay. Yeah, he started to stutter. So y'all can go back and watch that. If you have any questions about that, he did stutter, and it told me that he does. You can see it. Okay, thank you, Natasha. I just want people to look at the whole picture, you know. And I can point out things that I see that's inconsistent, as red flags that I know that are obvious lies that I try to get people to see. What they take with it after, that's completely on them. But I'm going to do my best and break things down and give you what I see, honestly. Because I don't understand how people are not seeing this. And I try to get people to see. Because some people may not be able to see. They may be blinded by his things he say. God, scriptures. I mean, he's a narcissist, so he's kind of clever. He ain't the smartest, but he's kind of clever. So he knows how to get around things. And if you let him, he will throw you off. But his pattern has been the same for the last 4 months. The same. But yeah, just observe his body language and his answer. So at the 50-minute mark, Don still speaks of Summer in past tense. It's been about almost 4 months on the 15th, you guys. And he speaks of her in the past tense still. Hey, look, Kendra Boo. I didn't forget. I'm giving all my members mod sticks. Okay. So at the 50-minute mark, he still speaks of Summer in past tense. And it's been almost 4 months. On the 15th. Next week, 4 months. Summer's been gone. 4 months. Summer will be gone next week. He speaks of her in past tense. She loved her daughter. I quote. She loved her daughter. He said. He even asked Candace questions himself. So what he was saying was, they asked him about Candace again, and he said she loved her daughter. Loved, past tense, L-O-V-E-D, like she's not here anymore, she's gone. She loved her. He still speaks of Summer in past tense, like they know something we don't. Like they know she's gone. She's never coming back. She loved our daughter. Correct. She loved her daughter. Not our daughter, her daughter. It's ironic because he always speaks of her in past tense. Melissa, they know she's not here anymore. They know Summer is gone. And if she is found, I'm going to be all the way real with you guys. She is going to be severely decomposed. And I hope in some way they're able to determine her cause. I really do. Yes, bones. It's been almost 4 months. It's been hot. Wherever she is, it's not good. I do want her found though, regardless. I do want her found. And there is ways to find out trauma to her, even with just what will be left of her. because it's been 4 months. So she's severely, most likely severely decomposed, okay? If she's deceased, which the way they speak of her, everything we've seen, I just don't think she's here. I don't think she's here. I just don't. I want her to be. I wish I do, but I just don't think she is. Yes, bones tell stories. So I hope they don't think they can get away. Hey, Becky. I hope they don't think they can get away with this. Anybody who did it, I don't think. Yes, 4 months next week. It'll be 4 months Summer Wells has been gone. Yes, most likely. So he said he asked about her mom. So he told the behavior panel, look, I asked her questions. They asked her, well, what questions? About her mom and what? That lets you know Don didn't ask Candace no questions. They already know what was going on. He already knew what happened to his daughter. So did Candace, okay? Let me tell you. When they asked him what question, because he said, I already asked her myself, just trying to prove, he slipped up, trying to prove that Candace didn't do it. So he slipped up, said, I asked her questions myself. They was like, okay, so what made you ask her questions? What made you, and what questions did you ask her? He couldn't even say it. He was like, well, he asked about, well, what about your mom? You didn't ask. Just straight up lies that don't make sense. That's not the questions you would ask. You would ask Candace, did you do anything? Did you see anything? Did an accident happen? That's what you were supposed to ask. But he didn't say that. He said he asked Candace about her mom. Could have Grandis. Yeah. Sit down. In my back, y'all. Do y'all see me? Y'all see me? Okay, I'm sorry. My daughter called. She called my phone. And she right in the house. She could just came right out. Okay, good. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. My fault. Yes, I am bad. Okay, so where do we leave off? Yeah, so he, that's the question that he asked her. What about your grandmother, Grandis? Could she have done anything? That's what he said he asked Candace. And I know the behavior panel picked up on that. Because you trying to prove to them that Candace didn't do it, right? But you even said yourself you asked her questions. So when they ask you, what question did you ask her? You asked her about Grandis. Could Grandis do it? Why didn't you, if you even yourself asked her questions, why didn't you ask about her? You're going to ask her about her mother, but not her? Exactly, LaKenda, before the essay. Our little crime baby is doing good. Hopefully it's trying to simmer down with the sickness all day. Yeah, it's trying. It's trying. But yeah, so far so good. But LaKenda, that's what I said in the beginning of this live. If you subtract the essay, he's still a person of interest. I don't believe the essay had nothing to do with the lies and facts that we have seen and talked about. Yes, I am feeling a little bit better. Thank you so much. It's just this pregnancy is like, whoa. I've never been sick like a dog like this, ever. It's drained my energy and everything, but it's okay because I'm starting to pick up on more energy than I had. Because y'all know I'm an energy bomb. But it's been rough. But yeah, so he asked her questions about Grandis. Okay, you can do that, but you supposed to ask her. Oh, thank you, Sana. You supposed to ask her questions about her too. Ask about Candace too, but that's not what he said. And we know he didn't ask her because they already know. So I just think that was not the appropriate response either. That is not the appropriate response. Okay. He says again that he knew Candace didn't do anything. I don't believe he asked her anything, okay? I believe he and Candace knows what happened to Summer. All of that. Okay? I even believe they know where she is. And that's just my personal opinion. From all the red flags and lies. Because there's no other reason you would go through all this. Unless you know something about your daughter's disappearance. Okay? That's the only reason you would do this. Because this is what this is about. Your daughter. So why would you lie? Why would you do all of that? And Dawn will be the first on everything. Dawn will be the first she called. He will be the first to know everything and anything. And he will be the one to make all decisions. Don is pushing kidnapping. He thinks his daughter was kidnapped. Okay, that's what he's pushing. Also, let's get to the neighbor. Thank you, Natasha. He said the neighbor heard a scream. Let's talk about that. He said the neighbor heard a scream. Why didn't Candace and Grandis hear the scream? Let's ask ourselves for a moment. The neighbor heard a scream, and we know how far the neighbor house is. It's a little ways. The neighbor heard a scream. Candace and Grandis are right there on the property. They didn't hear the scream? Dawn's excuse was she probably was in the house with the TV up. She don't hear it when I pull up in the driveway and I honk the horn. She don't hear it. But the neighbor ways down heard a scream from allegedly your property. And Grandis and Candace is on your property and they didn't hear a scream. And your excuse is she was in the house. But hold on, why would she be in the house when the story is she was over there helping Grandis outside? She was fixing up her putting on her cast and everything. And when she went back in the house, Candace was gone. Summer was gone. Candace was outside, so she would have seen or heard something. That's why that story is unbelievable to me. If there was a scream, Candace should have heard it because she was outside right there with Grandis, not far. So if a neighbor ways down heard a scream, they definitely heard something or they was complicit or in on something. Period. If that scream is real, Candace and Grandis should have heard it. Period. They should have heard it. They was right there. That does not add up to me. Granny was there. She would have heard it, and Candace was outside like she said. She would have had to hear it too. Because that was the story. That was the story that Candace was outside. So like I said, that's inconsistencies. That does not fit with the kidnapping. Now, could the neighbor have heard a scream ways down and it could come from that property? Yeah. But then you would have to question why Candace and Grannis didn't hear it. And if they heard it and not saying something, then they know what happened. Could the neighbor be lying? Yes. Someone in the chat said the law enforcement does not believe the scream. Maybe, maybe not. It might be true, it might not be true. Let me tell you what Don says. Yes, that whole story is crazy. Unbelievable. He says the neighbor said the scream was like muffled, like her hand was over her mouth. How the hell would a neighbor ways down hear a scream like a muffle with somebody's hand over their mouth? How would they hear that? How would you know and be able to describe that scream, that muffled scream? How would he know, and how would he be able to describe that? The neighbor, I don't believe, would hear that. Exactly, Phoenix. That's what I'm saying. It's not making sense. It does not add up. It's a lie. Well, I'm working on it, Batcave. In some cases, they can make cases with people without bodies, but you have to have a lot of evidence. The evidence can be circumstantial. It got to be concrete. So far, all we got is lies, inconsistencies, and red flags. Ellie has to get the evidence. Ellie has to do it. LE has to get the evidence. They have to make the case. Right. If it's muffled, yes, sound would not travel. That's true. But yeah, so that doesn't add up. And it doesn't add up with Candace being outside not hearing nothing. And it don't add up with Granny being right there not hearing nothing. So it don't add up. The scream don't add, the muffled scream don't add up that Don is pushing. And then he's making excuses why Candace didn't hear the scream, because they're pushing the kidnapping theory. Which, what they're trying to build around this theory is not working. It doesn't fit. It does not fit into the puzzle. Meaning, it's not true. Yes, the timeline is very off. It is. And I'm telling you, all of this points to mommy and daddy. And it's still, actually more evidence is pointing to them, to me, than beginning. And I already was looking at them in the beginning. But now it's just like, how can we not see this? Why they're not in an interrogation room? Maybe they're waiting on something, I don't know, but they got to get on it. Because all of these lies and things, it should at least brought them to be inside an interrogation room being re-questioned. Because I know things Don has said on YouTube is not what he told law enforcement. So that should spark interest into Don to be re-interviewed. That's what I would think. And I don't understand why. But I mean, I guess everything happens in due time. But I really believe mother and daddy know something. They know something. And if the neighbor is telling the truth, Granny and Mom should have heard that scream. And the only people who likely might not have heard the scream was the boys, because they was inside the house in front of a loud TV. And then while they're telling us these different stories, they forget what they've said to us already, and they forget where they were. See, when you tell lies, you got to remember the lie you told before that and the lie you told before that. You have to remember all of these lies you told. You have to remember every lie. If you don't remember your lie, you're going to slip up. You're going to slip up. And they slipped up many times, and nothing is consistent. Nothing. See, they know their daughter was gone. She was gone before then, most likely. I believe Summer Wells went missing. Everything started happening at 3:30 to 6:24. They just reported it at 6:24. Things started getting, whatever happened to that baby happened at 3 to 3:30 on. They just reported it at 6:24. So they gave them 3 hours, if they did it, to get rid of the body, create a story between Granny, Mama, and Don, and call the police. And there's plenty of time for Don to get home, help, act like he's on the way home from work. Plenty of time. Around 2, yes. Plenty of time. Because the call didn't go in to 6:24. All their phones and devices was erased from 3:30 on. Why did y'all erase the message? Because y'all was communicating. Because y'all was getting y'all story together. Because y'all was trying to get on the same page on what we're going to tell the police, what we're going to tell FBI, what we're going to tell law enforcement. What are we going to tell them? Yeah, and Grandma dipping. Something happened. Something happened on that property, in my opinion. The police know it. That's why they checked it over 7 times and had other agencies come in and recheck everything. I think they took that baby off that property somewhere else. But, like I said, something happened. Because why else would you remove your messages from 3:30 on? Everything points to 3:30 on. And, okay, neighborhood screen at 4:30. I'm telling y'all, it makes sense. It's something about 3:30, between 3 and 6:24. It's something about it. When you watch interrogations and when you watch people and previous criminals that got caught, they've all done the same thing that Don and Candace are doing. They've all done it. We've seen it a million times. They try to delete messages thinking it can't be retrieved. All type of stuff. They thought it was going to be like Candace's sister. That's what I believe. They tried to make it like Candace's sister when she went missing, and it didn't work out for them. And Candace's sister, I do not believe ran away. I believe something happened to her. Period. So with that being said, I broke down a couple of things that I saw was red flags, that was lies from Don Wells in the behavior panel. I might go back live tonight because we need to talk about Jelani Day and his autopsy. I have been and is looking at right now bodies that's been decomposed in water. I am looking into the organs being liquefied, because a lot of things does not make sense. Yeah, so I'm having a hard time with that, but I'm looking, because certain things they said that with Jelani Day's organs being gone is not adding up. Because y'all had this body for 24 days. So, I'm doing research right now on what they told us. Yes, his organs gone. Let me read it to you. I'll read it to you what I'm looking up. Oh yes. Oh yes. They're trying to say his organs liquefied. They said his organs liquefied in the water. Okay, well then stop fighting and go in there and sit down. I'm gonna pull it up. Oh, it's very disturbing. Just turn it. Alright, y'all prepare yourself. I'm gonna read you the article. And then we're gonna come back later. I'm gonna try to do tonight. Because me and the kids going out to eat with their dad. It was their dad's birthday yesterday. So we had got him some gifts and stuff, and I'm going out to dinner tonight. So I'm gonna try to do a live tonight if I can stomach it. But I am looking at you already know where I'm going. Thank you, J Star, baby. Country girl, oh yes. Okay, so let's read this article. I'm gonna read it slow. Some things no mother should have to endure. That's the title of the article, and it is by Chicago Sun-Times. Okay, y'all can go look at it when I'm done. Carmen Bolden Day had to wait nearly a month to view the body that might be her dead son, Jelani Day. Oh, let me charge up my phone. I think it's trying to die. Okay, there we go. Okay, thank you, Melissa. Love you too, honey. And she sensed an initial lack of urgency by police to find him. Peru, Illinois, it was in a sense a premature autopsy. Okay? He was near faceless, scalpless body that not even a mother could recognize. The waterlogged corpse lay in the possession of the LaSalle County Coroner's Office for 24 days. Even after authorities finally made positive identification, reportedly through dental records and DNA, Carmen Bolden still had not been allowed to see the body that the authorities eventually said was her son, Jelani Day. But how could she know if it was her son or Jelani unless she had a chance to finally lay eyes on the body, even as a decomposed refrigerated shell? How could she know? How could she know for certain in her heart that it was her son, or ever had some semblance of peace and acceptance, unless or until she perhaps had the chance to scan the body from head to toe a little while to search for signs, no matter how seemingly insignificant, that the autopsy body was indeed her baby boy? Some things a mother knows, some things are unmanageable. Some things just don't add up. Some things about this case just ain't right because they just ain't right. And things ain't right with Jelani Day case, and that's why we own it. I'll read y'all these autopsy results. Well, some of the autopsy results, because they don't put everything. They haven't determined if it was homicide or not. They're trying to give us an excuse why they can't. So I'm going to read you what they said, and then we're going to come back later on and we're going to talk about it. Because I'm doing some research about what they're saying to us, because I think it's bullshit. Some things makes absolutely no sense. Some things only God knows. Some things, even a puzzling mystery, can in time come to light. But some things no mother should have to endure, among them having to wait nearly a month for the chance to view a body that might be her dead son. Among them, sensing a lack of urgency by police to initially search for her son, even after his car was found in a wooded area in Peru a day after he had been reported missing. Among them, an unnerving, painstaking wait of more than 2 weeks for the authorities to at last identify the body, and the perceived lack of empathy shown to a grieving black mother of a dead or possibly still missing black son. Which in itself begins the questions. Would Jelani Day case have been handled differently if he were not a black and male, but a woman who was white and blonde? This much is as clear as black and white. That knows what or who brought this handsome, promising young black male graduate student to this town, population 0.4% African Americans, and 60 miles north of his college campus where he was studying to be a doctor. Clear is that someone knows how Jelani ended up floating dead in the Illinois River. And we know someone knows. And that even as authorities continue to call the case of Jelani's demise a death investigation, there is something foul about this case that stinks to high heaven and that cries out for answers and for justice for Jelani. That's true. All right, here we go. Still waiting. Weeks after Jelani was reported missing by his mother on August 25th, the case had remained unsolved, and the circumstances surrounding his death are a swirling mystery. The dreaded call came nearly a month later in September. As Day was on the phone with her attorney, the other line buzzed. Day answered. It was the LaSalle County Coroner's Office. She remembers the excitement that filled the coroner's voice as he bubbled with good news about the case. The office had received new dental records. She recalls the coroner telling her, explaining they were now prepared to possibly make positive ID. Wait a minute, huh? Day sat dazed and confused. Weeks earlier, she and other family members had complied with the coroner's request to submit DNA testing. Both the mother and her attorney, Hallie M. Besner, said they had also earlier been informed that the coroner had removed. Listen to what the coroner removed. The coroner had removed one of the corpse's tibia bones. The coroner removed one of Jelani's tibia bones, okay, and sent it out for DNA analysis. Something that left Day disturbed and puzzled. So you telling me you removed my son's tibia bone and sent it out for DNA? Okay, let's keep going. It gets worse. They said she had previously contacted the coroner to provide her son dental records in her earnest hope for answers, though with no word back. With no word back from the coroner until 8 days later, after she left her first message. She waited and she waited and waited, hope fading, last the glow of a sinking summer sun. So, when the coroner finally rang with news on September 22nd about a possible ID due to the acquisition of new dental records, they quite naturally had questions. Day's questions and her attempt to get a better understanding apparently perturbed the coroner, for his next words fell harshly. Do you want us to identify your son or not? Day sat aghast without words, tears swelling. Her attorney, whom they had merged on the call, suddenly lit into the corner. Besner recalled telling him he had no fucking right to speak to Day that way. A day later, the coroner's office made a positive ID about notifying the family. They released the news to the press. It was Jelani Day, they said. That was their determination. But there is a yearning for a mother to see even a dead son, except she would have to wait still. The corpse had no eyeballs, only sockets. The river's water had run her course, soaking the body through and through. So Jelani had no eyeballs, okay? The body was missing its front, top, and bottom teeth, okay? Citing a second autopsy performed by a private forensic pathologist at the request of the family. So they did do a second autopsy. Okay, so Jelani mama did do a second autopsy because we asked, please do a private autopsy. She did, which that's the best thing she could have ever did. It gets worse. So far we have no eyeballs, only the sockets. His front and bottom teeth missing. His jawbone had been sawed out. This is your jawbone. It was sawed out. No brain. The family's private forensic pathologist could not find no brain, no organs, no liver, no spleen. Bessemer said the LaSalle County coroner had explained that according to their pathology report, the organs were completely liquefied. That's what I have a problem with. I don't believe all of those organs was liquefied. His body was still there, okay? Yes, it was damaged, but his body was there. Okay? So I'm explaining to y'all later. Okay, what I'm talking about. The body has suffered. All that is with the first doctor. I don't believe they liquefied. Me either, son. And my research can prove that some of his organs should have been there. Some of his organs should have been there. That first coroner who had Jelani's body, I think tampered with some shit. Okay? Let me just tell you that. Because I said it was something to why they had him 24 fucking days. Okay? And was going to open and close this case and say he committed suicide. But his mama made noise. Okay? So like I said, it's something. It's a reason that coroner had that body so long. So when y'all took and did his dental records, when y'all gave his body to the private person who did the autopsy, y'all should have seen his teeth. Y'all had his teeth. So why his front and bottom teeth gone? What did y'all do with his teeth? Y'all used his teeth to identify him, yeah? That's what y'all said. Y'all identified him by his teeth. So why y'all didn't send his teeth, okay, to the person that did the second autopsy? Why did y'all withhold the teeth? Because they said they didn't have the teeth. His top and bottom teeth were missing. And y'all sawed off his jawbone. So, okay. Did you do that to get an imprint? Because I don't think you need to do that to do dental records. I don't think you need to saw off the damn jawbone to do a dental record ID. I don't think you need to do that. And did you have to take his top and bottom teeth out? And then if you did all that, why not give it to the second person that did the autopsy? Why not? Because you're supposed to send everything in a bag to them. You're supposed to send everything that you took in a bag to them. But they missed a lot. They did not send the teeth to Jelani's. His jawbone was sawn off, which makes me believe there must have been some type of damage for them to do all this. That's what I said, County Girl. They would mold his stuff and send it in and get an ID. That's it. Why did you have to take his top teeth and his bottom teeth and saw off his bone? They're covering up something to that body. They're covering up something to his body. I'm telling y'all. All right, so let's keep going. The body has suffered innumerable fish and turtle bites and was maggot infested. Citing information both she and Day said they received from the LaSalle County Coroner Office, which has not yet released its autopsy report to the family, according to Day and Besner. So they still haven't released a full report. We're just getting parts. So they are basically trying to tell us without telling us it's going to be hard to identify if he was killed or not. Okay? So just pay attention with what they're trying to tell us. They're trying to tell us there's going to be no way for us to identify if he was murdered or not. So they're still trying to find a way to keep it a death investigation or not be nobody responsible for it. All right, let's keep going. The genitalia were unidentifiable. According to the private forensic pathology report, determined to be flayed. His genitalia was gone. His penis was gone. His penis was gone. Now, we know there's aquatic animals. We know there's aquatic animals. Yeah, we know all that. But everything they're saying still don't add up now. The inside organs should not be completely liquefied. The inside of him should not have been completely liquefied. All of his organs liquefied. I understand the damage to the body on the outside, but the inside, documentation say the body breaks down slower in the water than it does. And that's what I've been reading up on. But yeah, they said his genitalia was unidentifiable. It was flayed. Beslan says she continues to investigate to seek plausible, perhaps scientific explanations. See, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to find out what animal did that to the outside. Okay? But I don't believe all of his organs on the inside liquefied that fast. Because the body don't break down that fast in the water. I'm just saying because I've been researching it. Yeah. And he was found in 12 days. 12 days. Not 30 days, not 15 days, not 2 weeks. 12 days. You mean to tell me his inside organs were liquefied in 12 days? You found them in 12 days. Okay? He found them in 12 days, and the coroner had the body for 24. Do the math. They found him in 12 days. The coroner had his body for 24 days. His organs, I do not believe, were completely liquefied in 12 days. No. I did the research. No. Yeah. 30 days when they liquefy in the water. What I'm saying is they either didn't preserve his body on purpose or they did the rest of the damage, like removing the jawbone themselves, removing his teeth. Because you could have just got the imprint. Why did you take this? Was this damage to the body that you didn't want people to see? Why did you take it? Why did you take this? Something ain't right. And then they would not allow the mama to see it. So the grandmama and the brother was the ones that had to see the body 24 days later. 24 days later is when the brother and granny had to identify him like that. They wouldn't let the mama do it. So what was y'all doing to his body in those 24 days? And I've been asking that question days, every time I did a video for him. What were they doing to his body? And I had questions about that fucking coroner. What are y'all down there doing to him for 24 days? Because his organs was not liquefied in 12 days. It was not. So when the private autopsy got him, all his organs was gone. They couldn't find no brain. They couldn't find no spleen. They couldn't find no liver. They couldn't find no top teeth, bottom teeth, or jawbone. No. You cannot tell me that. And his penis was gone. So yeah, animal could have ate on the outside. So that tells me somebody must have put him in there naked. For them to get his body like that, where was his clothes? Somebody knew what the fuck they was doing. Somebody had him take off his clothes and put his ass in that fucking river because they knew what animals would have done to his body. For him to have to for them to eat up and bite on his stuff like that, somebody had knowledge. Somebody had knowledge. This wasn't a stupid person that did this. Okay? Because this would make it hard to tell if he was murdered or not. But the coroner did some weird things that shouldn't have been done. You didn't have to remove his jawbone. You didn't have to remove his top and bottom teeth. Where the hell is it? And why didn't you send his top and bottom teeth to the private coroner who's doing the autopsy? Where is his teeth? Yeah, I get the clothes as mental identification. But if you take off the clothes, they're going to automatically get to his body and nibble away. They don't got nibble away clothes first. They got direct contact to the skin. Yes, Bad K, that's my point. They automatically exposed him completely nude. So they must have knew the animals could get straight to him in that water to help do the rest of the dirty work. So yeah, so they released his body. So a second autopsy was done, a private autopsy. The grandmother and the son, one of his brothers, viewed his remains, and they didn't let the mama see it still. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up. They have not identified if he was murdered or not. And I'm telling y'all why they're telling us all this. Because the next step is going to be, and I'm telling y'all, I know what I'm talking about here. Watch and listen. The next thing they're going to say is, this is why. Because of his body, we're not going to be able to tell you if it was a homicide. So, we're going to let you know. We're going to just close it as undetermined. This death will be undetermined. And they're going to try to close the case. And that's exactly why they released all of this information. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. They knew what they were doing, but we know too. We know too. Yep. And then he's just thrown to the side and forgot. Somebody had to take out his teeth. Somebody had to take out his top and bottom teeth and jawbone. So, for them to do dental records, the coroner had his teeth. So his teeth wasn't missing before he was on the autopsy table, okay? His teeth wasn't missing before he was on the autopsy table. Y'all did dental records, okay? So why didn't the teeth make it to the second independent autopsy? Why didn't his teeth make it there? Why didn't his teeth make it? Y'all had his teeth. That's something weird. Like I said, we're going to get into it later and we're going to talk about it. Yeah, but we're not stupid. Yes, that first person that had that body, that coroner that disrespected, yeah, shady, very shady. That's the same coroner that disrespected the mama. That's the same coroner that had his body for 24 days. That's the same coroner. And I question, what is he down there doing to the body? Because, okay, you still could have did DNA. When someone's in the water or severely decomposed, they do DNA. And they do dental. But their excuse was they didn't have the chemical to do the DNA. That was their first excuse. And then you say dental. So you had his fucking teeth. So when they do a private autopsy, he's missing his teeth. Where did they go? The first coroner had it. So why they didn't make it to the second autopsy table? Why didn't his teeth make it to the second autopsy table? The second autopsy coroner said they're missing. So how are they missing? The first coroner would know. How are they missing? That lets you know that what I was saying and feeling before was correct. He was tampering with some shit. You had to have his teeth to identify him. So why they didn't make it over here so they can check and make sure everything was okay. Teeth gone, jawbone sawed off. What coroner saws off the jawbone when you trying to preserve a body for a fucking funeral? When you trying to preserve a body for identification? Who saws off a jawbone? Something's not right. I'm just letting y'all know. So yeah, I've been looking at decomposed water bodies for the last couple of hours before I went live. And it does not add up. It does not add up. And the information and documentation of liquefied organs does not add up with what they're telling us. It does not add up. He would need to have been in there longer for his organs to liquefy. Matter of fact, he would have been liquefied. He wasn't even liquefied yet. So how was his organs liquefied? He had damage to his body by animals, but he wasn't liquefied yet. So how was his organs liquefied? When that takes longer to happen. I got the exact times and how long it takes. Not 12 days. He might have been swollen and bit off a little bit. You know, they attack, you know, they eat up the skin. You know. And they probably chewed off his genitalia. But that means they put him in there naked. Somebody put him in there nude. Oh yeah, J Star, that is a very good point. Is anything possible right now with these people? Exactly. It takes a while. It takes a while. Now, the way they're describing it sounds like he wasn't. I don't. The maggot infestation. Okay. But it just makes me sound like he was on land somewhere for a certain amount of time before he was put in. I don't know. I'm looking into that. The Body Farm website. Okay. Right. No, he wasn't missing teeth or bones. The coroner took a piece of a tibia, and the coroner had his teeth to identify him. So what the hell did the coroner do with his teeth and sawed off his jawbone? What did you do with his teeth? Why didn't you send it to the private autopsy who was doing it? Why you take his teeth for? What you got to hide? Did something happen to his face? You don't want nobody to know? Y'all want to cover up a homicide? Because this is what it looks like to me, a homicide cover-up. This a homicide cover-up. I know you didn't lose this man's teeth. You had to identify him. But it's out. It's out. And people are looking at it. And they got the second autopsy. Now, mind you, what if there wasn't no second autopsy? They would have got away with all the shit that they trying to tell us. They would have got away with all that stuff they trying to tell us if there was no second autopsy. Which was the smartest thing she could have ever did. Because the way they acted was suspicious. And you got my child body. You don't respect me. I know you don't respect my son you got on that table. You don't respect me. I know you're not going to respect his body. So I'm going to go behind you and do a second autopsy. And what they're saying missing shouldn't be missing because they had in their possession to do the dental records. So where is his teeth? And why did you saw off his jawbone? Because there wasn't no need to saw it off. Unless you're hiding evidence. It's fucking crazy, y'all. Now, yeah, they do say once you remove the body from the water, you have to hurry up and do an autopsy. So, the coroner had him for 24 days. Okay? 24 days. So, what was they doing to him for 24 days? Why didn't they let the mama or anybody in the family come view him before he was decomposing? But it should have stopped it once they got him in that cooler. It should have slowed that shit down. But yes, they supposed to do the autopsy as soon as the person's out the water, because to get the most accurate. But we had a fluke coroner doing the autopsy that had the body for 24 days. Doing God knows what. Because you used his teeth to do the dental record, so where's the teeth? They did use it for dental records, Phoenix. They did. Exactly. And that's why Mama was puzzled. You had his teeth. So why did you need his tibia bone? You had his teeth. They told her they took his tibia bone for DNA. Oh, son, I lived there too. I went to high school up there. They definitely foul and rank. You ain't lying about that. They're foul and rank. I did not want to raise none of my boys up there. You need his tibia bone for DNA? But you had his teeth. Then you sawed off his jawbone? You didn't have to do that for dental records. You didn't have to saw off his shit for dental records. What's wrong, Natasha? What you had to get out? Ah, okay. Yeah, if you're ignorant and you don't know your shit, they'll try to spit some stuff to you. But yeah, we far from ignorant over here. We know how to research and look, and yeah. No. But I'm gonna get up off here, y'all. I will be back later on, if not tonight, definitely tomorrow, so we can talk about Jelani Day. So y'all can look up some stuff. Y'all go look at the article, Chicago Sun-Times. Look at it if you want to study it. I'm doing some research on that, on what they're trying to tell us. Oh, and we're gonna go there. Exactly, Summer. They're trying to do less harm to the body, not more. But these people did more harm. They had to do a closed casket on the 10th of this month. Today. So keep the Day family in y'all prayers. Keep the Day family in y'all prayers. Grandmama and one of the brothers had to look at their family like that. We're going to break it down. In any research that I find, we're going to talk about it. Because I don't believe his organs was liquefied in 12 days in that water. His body wasn't liquefied in that water. So his organs should have been still maintainable. Okay, in that water. Some of his genitalia should have been there. But it could have been aquatic animals. I give them that. For some of the outside. But you had his teeth. Where's his teeth? And y'all sawed off. It wasn't an animal. They said it was sawed off. His jawbone was sawed off. So yeah, that does not make sense. So that's what I'm looking into. Things that they can't sell us, that water did all that to him in 12 days. When I done seen people come out of water longer than 12 days. They may be bloated. They may be bloated and nibble that a little bit, but they're not completely liquefied. Sell that to somebody that's dumb. Oh, the coroner did that. Yes, son. The coroner had a lot to do with why his body, his front was gone. Exactly. They don't use saws. And that's messed up to degrade that man's body like it. Not in 12 days. No. But I love y'all. We're going to talk more about it later. Thank y'all for stopping in. And we just got done. I will thank you. We just got done analyzing Don Wells, his narcissistic behavior, his traits. And we know Don and Candace know something. They're hiding something about Summer Wells. The lies and everything has pointed to y'all knowing something. Because why would you lie? Why would you do all the things y'all did these last 4 months? Why? So, in my personal opinion, the Wells know. Candace and Don, they know something. Candace is losing it. Hopefully, I don't want her to lose it, but I can't care about her. I got to care about Summer. So, hopefully, she break down and tell what happened. That's what I'm praying for. Somebody that can't take all that. That weighs on them. The guilt weigh on you. So I hope the guilt breaks somebody down to tell what happened to little Summer Wells. Because she didn't deserve that. Somebody gonna slip up. But that's what we need for Summer. No problem. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Love y'all. And I will see y'all guys later. Okay? Peace.